The Los Angeles Lakers are entering one of the most important seasons in recent memory. With LeBron James now preparing for his record-setting 23rd campaign in the NBA, the franchise knows the clock is ticking. Each year that passes, the margin for error gets smaller, and every injury, no matter how minor, becomes a matter of serious concern. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. On Media Day, the Lakers confirmed that James is managing a glute injury. While not considered a long-term setback, it was enough to raise questions about his immediate availability and the organization's approach to managing his workload. Now, those questions have been answered. James will not be available when Los Angeles opens its preseason schedule against the Phoenix Suns. According to ESPN's Dave McMenamin, the decision has already been made. Head coach JJ Redick addressed the situation, noting that the priority is keeping James fully healthy and avoiding any unnecessary risks. Redick did acknowledge, however, that the team would like to see him play at least one preseason game before the regular season begins. "It would be nice to have James suit up for at least one preseason game," Redick said. "We would love to have that happen." The news is hardly shocking. At this stage of his career, James doesn't need preseason minutes to get himself ready for the regular season. After 2 decades of playing at the highest level, he understands how to manage his body and prepare for the grind of an 82-game campaign. What matters most is that he is at full strength when the games start to count. Still, the development highlights a growing reality. James's durability has become one of the Lakers' biggest storylines. Injuries are inevitable for any athlete, but particularly for one who has carried such a heavy workload for so long. At 40 years old, James remains remarkably productive. Last season, he averaged 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists per game, while shooting over 51% from the field and nearly 38% from beyond the arc. Those numbers are elite for any player, let alone the oldest active player in the league. But Father Time is undefeated. As much as James invests in his conditioning, spending millions annually on training, recovery, and body maintenance, there is no avoiding the fact that his availability has become a season-by-season question mark. For the Lakers, that means the margin for error is razor thin. Without James at full strength, their championship hopes take a significant hit. The organization has built its roster around the idea that James will continue to play at an all-NBA level. That's not just about scoring. His ability to control tempo, facilitate offense, and raise the level of play for those around him remains unmatched. Even in his 40th year, he continues to be one of the most impactful players in the league. But for the Lakers to seriously contend, they need him to be more than just impactful. They need him to be dominant when it matters most. The preseason, therefore, takes on a different meaning for Los Angeles. For younger players and new acquisitions, it's an opportunity to establish roles and build chemistry. For James, it's simply a matter of getting healthy enough to step onto the floor when the regular season begins. Redick and the Lakers' medical staff appear committed to a cautious approach, ensuring that their star forward is not rushed back unnecessarily. This caution reflects the team's understanding of what lies ahead. The Western Conference remains brutally competitive, with the Oklahoma City Thunder emerging as one of the top contenders after their strong campaign last year. If the Lakers are going to dethrone them, or even keep pace with the likes of Denver, Phoenix, and other rising teams, they will need James at peak form, particularly in the second half of the season and into the playoffs. The strategy for Los Angeles is clear: protect James now so that he can deliver later. It's a delicate balance. Sitting him too often risks losing momentum and chemistry. Playing him too aggressively risks injury and fatigue. The Lakers have to thread that needle perfectly if they hope to maximize their championship window. James himself knows what's at stake. Every season from here on out could realistically be his last. While he has not officially announced a retirement timeline, the fact that he is entering his 23rd season speaks volumes. No player in NBA history has carried this kind of responsibility for this long while maintaining such a high level of performance. His longevity has already cemented his legacy, but his drive for another championship remains as strong as ever. For now, fans will have to wait a little longer to see him back on the court. The glute injury may not be serious, but it is a reminder of the fragility of the Lakers' championship aspirations. The team needs James healthy, not in October, but in April, May, and June. Those are the months that will ultimately define his season and perhaps even his career. As the Lakers begin their preseason slate, the focus will shift to the supporting cast. Can the younger players take advantage of these opportunities? Can the new pieces fit into Redick's system quickly enough to complement James once he returns? These are the questions that will dominate the early part of Los Angeles' season. One thing is certain, when LeBron James is ready, the spotlight will be back on him, and at 40 years old in his 23rd season, the basketball world will once again watch closely to see if he can defy time, stay healthy, and keep the Lakers in the hunt for another title. Austin Reaves has made a bold statement about his future with the Los Angeles Lakers. By rejecting a 4-year, $89.2 million contract extension earlier this summer, the guard has signaled that he believes his value is far greater than what the franchise initially offered. It is a move that puts him in the spotlight as the 2025 NBA season begins, and it sets the stage for one of the most intriguing storylines surrounding the Lakers this year. Reaves spoke openly during the team's media day, addressing the decision with a mix of gratitude and determination. He thanked Rob Pelinka for the chance the organization gave him and praised Jeannie Buss for the way she has treated his family since his arrival in Los Angeles. But he also made it clear, despite the respect he feels for the Lakers, the number on the table simply did not match what he believes he has earned. He emphasized that he is not chasing an outrageous or unrealistic figure, only a deal that reflects the work he has put in on the court. The numbers from last season back him up. Reaves logged a career-high 34.9 minutes per game, delivered more than 20 points a night, and set personal bests in both assists and rebounds. For a player who once entered the league undrafted and overlooked, these are not just improvements, they are statements of growth and reliability. If he can replicate or surpass those performances in his 5th NBA season, his market value could rise dramatically. League insiders agree. According to reports from The Athletic, executives and scouts believe Reaves' next contract could average more than $35 million per year, a figure significantly higher than the $22.3 million valuation offered by the Lakers. For a player once seen as a complimentary piece, that projection speaks volumes about how his reputation has shifted across the league. But alongside the financial discussion is a deeper narrative about perception. Reaves has carried the label of a role player for much of his career. In his own words, when he first entered the NBA, the consensus was that he was a good story, a player who could contribute, but not someone destined to become a star. Over the years, as he consistently improved, he proved he belonged. Yet even then, critics placed him in the category of just a role player. Now, after exceeding those expectations, those same voices demand that he deliver at the level of a star. For Reaves, it is a situation where no matter what he does, it will never feel like enough to satisfy everyone, and that, he says, is why he no longer pays attention to the labels. This season, the stakes are even higher. Reaves will play alongside Luka Doncic and 40-year-old LeBron James, two established all-stars who command attention every time they step on the floor. For Reaves, the challenge is not only to maintain his production, but also to carve out his own identity within a roster that carries championship aspirations. He has expressed his desire to become an all-star himself this year, a goal that would cement his transformation from undrafted underdog to legitimate NBA standout. Still, at the heart of his ambitions lies a simple truth. Reaves wants to win. He has repeatedly said that his ultimate goal is success on the court, and in an ideal world, that success would come while wearing a Lakers uniform. His comments at Media Day reflected that balance of personal ambition and loyalty. "I want to be in LA," he said. "I love it here. I want to keep playing Virginia Country Club on my off days. It's not about asking for more than I deserve. It's about securing what I believe I've worked for." The implications of this standoff extend beyond just Reaves and his future. For the Lakers, the decision to hold firm at $89.2 million raises questions about how the franchise values its young talent compared to the star power of its established veterans. For Reaves, every game this season becomes an audition, not just for Los Angeles, but for the entire league. Should the Lakers hesitate to meet his price, there will undoubtedly be teams willing to make him the centerpiece of their roster. It is also a test of timing. With LeBron James at 40 and entering the twilight of his career, the Lakers must balance the urgency of competing for a championship now with the long-term stability of their roster. Reaves at 25 represents both the present and the future. His progression could determine how smoothly the team transitions when the LeBron era eventually ends. For now, the story is still unfolding. Reaves has bet on himself, and the 2025 season will be the proving ground. Each performance will not only shape the Lakers' campaign, but also define the market value of one of the league's most intriguing guards. The question is no longer whether Austin Reaves belongs in the NBA. It is how much he is worth and who will be willing to pay it. Kawhi Leonard is now at the center of one of the most serious NBA investigations in recent memory, and the potential consequences could send shockwaves through the league. The Los Angeles Clippers are under scrutiny for alleged salary cap violations tied to what investigators describe as a $28 million no-show job. If the accusations hold, Leonard's contract could be declared void, a punishment that would dramatically alter not just his career, but the balance of power in the Western Conference. For the Los Angeles Lakers, their fiercest city rivals, this situation represents something almost unimaginable, an unexpected opportunity to sign a six-time All-Star without having to part ways with any of their key players. In a league where talent is concentrated and every superstar move shifts the landscape, this could be the rare opening that allows the Lakers to form a brand new Big Three. How could the Lakers actually get Kawhi Leonard? The details of the investigation matter. Under Article 13 of the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, a wide range of penalties can be imposed when rules are broken. The Clippers could face millions in fines, lose valuable draft picks, and see suspensions or financial punishments levied against owner Steve Ballmer and his top executives. But none of those outcomes would impact the league as dramatically as the most severe penalty on the table, the voiding of Kawhi Leonard's contract. Should that happen, Leonard immediately becomes an unrestricted free agent, free to sign with any team. In that moment, the Lakers would go from bystanders to front runners in one of the most significant free agent opportunities of the decade. And the timing is crucial. The Lakers have already spent their draft capital in recent years on win-now trades. In a traditional trade scenario, bringing Leonard to Los Angeles would be virtually impossible without dismantling their current roster. But if the contract is nullified by the league, the path to signing him becomes straightforward. It is an opening the Lakers cannot ignore. The Lakers' perfect storm, LeBron James, is entering his 22nd season in the NBA, and at 40 years old, his championship window is narrowing, yet his focus has not wavered. LeBron knows the Lakers are preparing for the future, his agent Rich Paul explained in an interview with ESPN. He understands that, but he also values a realistic chance of winning it all. As the roster stands today, that chance feels remote. The Lakers are competitive, but far from favorites. However, adding Kawhi Leonard alongside James and Luka Doncic would immediately change the conversation. Overnight, Los Angeles would move from an outside contender to the team most likely to dominate the West and compete for the title. For Leonard, the pitch is compelling on multiple levels. He has always valued staying close to home, a factor that played a decisive role in his departure from Toronto after winning the championship in 2019. The Lakers give him the chance to remain in Los Angeles, but with far greater stability than the Clippers can now offer. The contrast between the two franchises is striking. The Lakers are a cornerstone of NBA history, boasting 17 championships and a legacy of winning. The Clippers, meanwhile, could be entering years of turmoil if sanctions are imposed. For Leonard, the decision would mean leaving behind uncertainty for the opportunity to compete with an organization that knows how to win at the highest level. Most importantly, it would give him a realistic shot at his third championship ring. Rather than attempting to carry a fractured Clippers roster through chaos, Leonard would join a contender built to win immediately. The vision of a new Big Three. Imagine a trio of Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic. It would instantly become one of the most formidable offensive and defensive combinations the NBA has ever seen. Leonard addresses the Lakers' most glaring weakness: defense. Even after years in the league, he remains one of the most versatile defenders, capable of shutting down an opposing team's top scorer on any given night. His presence would relieve pressure from James, who at this stage of his career needs to conserve energy, and it would allow Doncic to focus entirely on orchestrating the offense with his creativity and scoring versatility. On the offensive end, the balance is nearly perfect. Doncic brings elite playmaking and an ability to score from anywhere on the court. James, still one of the smartest and most efficient players in the game, thrives in moments where he can exploit mismatches and take control late in games. Leonard, though not always recognized for his offensive contributions, is one of the league's most reliable two-way players, able to score consistently while anchoring the defense. The blueprint is undeniable: Leonard's defensive dominance, Doncic's offensive brilliance, and James's leadership and championship pedigree. Together, they create a formula that rivals any championship team in recent history. What it would mean for the NBA. The implications extend far beyond Los Angeles. If Leonard's contract is voided and he chooses the Lakers, the power dynamics in the league would shift overnight. A team that seemed destined to hover just outside the circle of true contenders would suddenly become the clear favorite. The Western Conference would be reshaped, with every rival forced to adjust their strategies against a powerhouse team built around 3 generational talents. It is rare for an NBA investigation to hold the potential to change the competitive balance of the entire league, yet that is exactly what is unfolding. For the Clippers, the outcome could be devastating. For the Lakers, it could be transformational. As the investigation moves forward, one question looms: if Kawhi Leonard becomes available, will the Lakers seize the moment?